But let's get into football, boys. We had some trades this weekend that could kind of shake up our division. Now, as Dolphins fans, we may not be feeling very good about our chances of winning the division anyways, but seeing teams like the Bills and the Jets find help in the middle of the season is never a good sign and never something we want to see, let's be honest. My friends were messaging me back like, well, what do you care? Your team's out of it. I'm like, first of all, we've only played 5 games. Second of all, I never want to see the division rivals get better, no matter if we're 0-5 right now. So
with you 1,000%.
Right? So let's jump into it. There's 2 trades that happened. Amari Cooper was traded to the Buffalo Bills for a 3rd and a 7th. And Cleveland sent Cooper in a 6th. The Bills sent a 3rd and a 7th. And then Davante Adams, who we knew was going to go to the Jets at some point, and then it looked like he wasn't going to go to the Jets. And then they were like, never mind, we were just kidding. He is going to go to the Jets. That's a conditional that can become a 2nd if Adams is a 1st or 2nd team All-Pro, or if the Jets make it to the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, which I'm sure they would gladly trade a 2nd-round pick for the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, well, they're the Jets, though, so let's be real.
True. So let's start with you, Steve. What do you think? First of all, what do you think about these trades in general? Which one, kind of scares you more? Which team do you think got better with these 2 teams?
Which one scares me more is probably Buffalo getting Amari Cooper. Only because I think Josh Allen is better than Aaron Rodgers right now, obviously. Not overall. I'm not saying overall in the past. This season, right now, Josh Allen is the better quarterback. And, if you look at the last 2 seasons, Amari Cooper and Davante Adams both have had respectively very good seasons for the teams they've been on. And Davante Adams, I believe, he had 1,500 yards just 2 seasons ago. His quarterback situation was obviously different than it was now. He was with Derek Carr, somebody who he has had plenty of reps with throughout his entire career, but obviously in college. But Amari Cooper going to Buffalo is definitely a little bit more scary. I just think it's Josh Allen, you can plug and play a lot more receivers to, whereas, Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams have had plenty of success together, but it's still the Jets. Aaron Rodgers at this point is calling the plays. We already knew that was going to happen. And we as fans know where the ball is going. It's not going to number 1 anymore. It's now going to Davante Adams. And I think defenses are really going to hone in on it. I think the Jets are still going to be the Jets, and the Bills are just going to get better.
Yeah, Josh, what do you think? I'll go last on this one. I have
I mean, look, absolutely. I think both players are good, right? I think Amari Cooper is the clear better receiver right now, in my opinion, based on situation, based on playing recent playing time and everything. And I think if you look at situationally what these wide receivers are coming into, there is no question. Buffalo is the better team. They're better coached for the most part. They have a better quarterback, in my opinion. They have a better offensive line, in my opinion. They have better supporting cast, in my opinion. They have a better running back, in my opinion. Now, that might be a hot take because Breece Hall, I know, is everyone's fantasy darling right now, even though he's not really producing. But
he doesn't do it for me either.
I don't think the Jets are good in any capacity, right? They just fired their head coach. They have a quarterback who's basically an atomic bomb, right? For a franchise who thinks his poop doesn't stink.
They have had amazing success though, and it is still something that we do have to.
Amazing success. The Jets have not had amazing success.
Davante and Aaron.
For sure
together. Yeah,
but we're talking about a quarterback and wide receiver duo that hasn't played together in what, 4 years,
3
5
years,
years,
4 years.
something like that,
2022,
right?
I think
don't
3
remember.
seasons.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Well,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
What's up?
But Aaron's older. He's got a worse offensive line. He's got a backup play caller. He's got an interim head coach. I mean, like, there's just so many things that aren't in the Jets' favor. And I'm a Dolphins fan. I love to bash the Jets. I love to bash every team in our division. But, looking at the Jets organizationally, they're just a dumpster fire right now. That might be my fanhood leaking in a little bit, but that's facts are facts. And so where Amari Cooper is going into a better situation with a better quarterback, and Davante Adams might be slightly the better wide receiver, I think Amari Cooper is a better fit in Buffalo, and I think he's in a better situation. Just sucks all around, though, if I'm being honest.
I think Amari is probably the better receiver. I think Davante just has had the ball thrown to him a lot more by a lot better caliber of a quarterback in the last couple of years. I don't think Amari was he in Dallas before he went to the Browns, correct?
He was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and
Yep.
and that season, hold on, he had 68 receptions in a 15-game span, and
Yeah.
I mean the year before that he had 92, but I don't know what the Dallas situation was in 2021, but I do kind of remember the season out of Dallas wasn't a good one.
Yeah, I will say this though: the Amari Cooper is coming onto a team in Buffalo where he is the clear number one, in my opinion. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? There's no question. I think what does benefit Davante Adams is that he's playing on the opposite side, in most cases, of Garrett Wilson, who I still think personally is a top 10 wide receiver in this league. If he had a better quarterback and he was in a better organization, right? So, it'll be really interesting to see how teams hone in on each of those players because you can only double one person. So you're going to let Garrett Wilson run wild and against the Jets, or are you going to? I'm just real curious to see how it all plays out.
I truly think the New York Jets have one of the best young position cores in the NFL. It's just they can't get out of their own way. I mean, when you're looking at guys like Garrett Wilson and like Braylon Allen coming out onto the scene this year, and Breece Hall, who I still think is a very good running back, has just not been really set up to succeed at this point with new play callers every year, and then those play callers not being very good play callers at that. That being said, I do think that from a pure, I like Davante Adams better from a pure talent perspective. I think he's a better receiver than Amari Cooper. But if you're talking about who's in the better position, I don't think there's any doubt that it's Amari Cooper. This Bills team has been dying without a number one receiver to throw it to, and as much as Shakir has done admirably filling in, he's also dealing with injuries now, and he missed the last 2 games ago. And didn't really make much of an impact this game against the Jets on Monday night with just 2 catches. So, I think the Bills thought they would be able to rely on James Cook and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox a lot more than they've actually been able to. The wear and tear got to James Cook already, right? He's missing time. He's missed the last game. He could potentially miss this game. And Dalton Kincaid has just been average,
pedestrian.
Like he's and it's not necessarily his fault. Josh has admittedly missed him on a lot of open downfield throws, or just missed him completely, didn't even throw it to him when he was open. But you can't, there's not a lot of teams that can rely on a tight end as a wide receiver one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey did it for a long time. Gronkowski did it for a few years.
Hey, I called it earlier in the show that this season was not going to be a tight end season. The tight ends were very slow at starting, and it has still proven me to be right there. The NFL is moving past the tight end position. I saw that. Me and my buddies were talking about that, and I brought it up. I think
they're down across the board for sure. But that being said, listen, Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid probably the best tandem of tight ends that are out there. They're just not being used. So we're seeing a trend here, right? But the Bills are the best team in this division, right? We thought maybe they would have a down year. We thought, okay, they don't have Diggs and whatever. but they still find a way to win. They come off the two-game losing streak, going into the Jets. They don't look great, but neither of them did, mainly because the referees took over the game in the second half. It was absurd. Something like 22 penalties or something like that in the half. So it was nuts. So I think the Bills got better. I think the Jets have a lot of other problems than needing another receiver.
And one that they're paying $11 million to, which is absurd to me because it's funny. I don't know what Buffalo is paying Amari Cooper, but it's chump change in comparison.
Yeah. And I think a lot of Jets fans are pretty annoyed by it too. Like they don't have an offensive line. Their play caller was much better Monday night, by the way. But like, still,
this just reeks of desperation to me. You know what I mean?
It does. Their hope, and just listen to the press conferences. Their hope is that Davante is going to come in and teach the young guys how to be what Aaron Rodgers is looking for. Aaron Rodgers wants you to be on the same wavelength as him in terms of, I want you to run the route slower or faster depending on what the defense is showing us, right? I want you to stop a route short and go for the back shoulder if you see this, right? And these are just things that his receivers don't currently know.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Snicklefritz, huge pickup for the Bills. Josh gets a go-to guy, an elite route runner, replaces an elite route runner. Yeah, dead on. And Anthony says that tight ends are obsolete in the new age football. I don't know if I completely fully agree, but they're certainly much less of an impact.
Yeah, they're definitely being phased out, in my opinion, or at least looked at differently, right? So you have most
more
teams,
of a blocker.
Yeah, most teams want that one tight end that's going to be the vertical threat, not be really involved in the passing game, but at least to take to help it
out of the play.
Exactly. And whereas and the other one is the key blocker. So it's really interesting to see where the NFL is going nowadays.
Yep, you'll always have a mix, right? I think, but it's definitely the least amount of like receiving focused tight ends we've seen in a while. You got Trey McBride down there in Arizona. You got Sam Laporta in Detroit, but everybody blocks in Detroit, so it doesn't matter what position you are.
Yeah.
Because
and apparently Detroit might be getting Max Crosby. I
did see.
I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know if it's real or not.
It would be crazy.
I think this was put into the wavelengths by the Rich Eisen show. It was on Overreaction Monday, and now everybody's just been kind of picking it up and running with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see something real fun. Go ahead, Steve.
I was gonna say, somebody in Detroit is definitely making phone calls though.
Oh, for sure.
You have to.
I mean, why
You
not?
have to.
Right? I mean, Las Vegas is a dumpster fire. They might as well try. You know what I mean? I did see something hilarious though about the Jets. So I saw something come across Instagram, I think, and it was breaking news: the Jets reach out and sign Jordy Nelson.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, at this point.